If you do not take an interest in the affairs of your government, then you are doomed to live under the rule of fools. Reality is created by the mind. We can change our reality by changing our mind. A wise man speaks because he has something to say. A fool because he has to say something. Better to complete a small task well than to do much imperfectly. Be kind. Every person you meet is fighting a difficult battle. Ignorance is the root cause of all difficulties. The right question is usually more important than the right answer. Someday, in the distant future, our grandchildren as grandchildren will develop a new equivalent of our classrooms. They will spend many hours in front of boxes with fires glowing within. May they have the wisdom to know the difference between light and knowledge. Don't force your children into your ways, for they were created for a time different from your own. Perfect wisdom has 4 parts. Wisdom, the principle of doing things aright. Justice, the principle of doing things equally in public and private. Fortitude, the principle of not fleeing danger, but meeting it. Temperance, the principle of subduing desires and living moderately. The one who learns and doesn't practice is like the one who plows and never plants. If one has made a mistake and fails to correct it, one has made a greater mistake. To begin is the most important part of any quest, and by far the most courageous. Those who are able to see beyond the shadows and lies of their culture will never be understood, let alone believed by the masses. The price of apathy towards public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. Human behavior flows from 3 main sources: desire, emotion, and knowledge. Enjoy life. There's plenty of time to be dead. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a harder battle. How can you prove whether at this moment we are sleeping, and all our thoughts are a dream, or whether we are awake, and talking to one another in a waking state? Education in music is most sovereign because more than anything else rhythm and harmony find their way to the innermost soul and take strongest hold upon it. Welcome out of the cave, my friend. It's a bit colder out here, but the stars are just beautiful. Every heart sings a song, incomplete, until another heart whispers back. There is nothing so delightful as the hearing, or the speaking of truth. For this reason, there is no conversation so agreeable as that of the man of integrity, who hears without any intention to betray, and speaks without any intention to deceive. False words are not only evil in themselves, but they infect the soul with evil. One cannot make a slave of a free person, for a free person is free even in a prison. Poverty doesn't come because of the decrease of wealth, but because of the increase of desires. Never discourage anyone who continually makes progress, no matter how slow, even if that someone is yourself. The philosopher is in love with truth. That is, not with a changing world of sensation, which is the object of opinion, but with the unchanging reality which is the object of knowledge. He who is only an athlete is too crude, too vulgar, too much a savage. He who is a scholar only is too soft, too effeminate, The ideal citizen is the scholar-athlete, the man of thought, and the man of action. Do not train children to learning by force and harshness, but direct them to it by what amuses their minds. The greatest mistake physicians make is that they attempt to cure the body without attempting to cure the mind. Yet the mind and the body are one, and should not be treated separately. I know not how I may seem to others, but to myself I am but a small child wandering upon the vast shores of knowledge, every now and then finding a small bright pebble to content myself with. When man is not properly trained, he is the most savage animal on the face of the globe. One of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. If we are to have any hope for the future, those who have lanterns must pass them on to others. When you feel grateful, you become great, and eventually attract great things. Mankind will never see an end of trouble until lovers of wisdom come to hold political power, or the holders of power become lovers of wisdom. Those who are too smart to engage in politics are punished by being governed by those who are dumber. A library of wisdom is more precious than all wealth, and all things that are desirable cannot be compared to it. Whoever therefore claims to be zealous of truth, of happiness, of wisdom or knowledge, must become a lover of books. Avoid compulsion and let early education be a matter of amusement. Young children learn by games. Compulsory education cannot remain in the soul. The qualities which a man seeks in his beloved are those characteristics of his own soul, whether he knows it or not. The true lover of knowledge naturally strives for truth, and is not content with common opinion, but soars with undimmed and unwearied passion till he grasps the essential nature of things. If the head and the body are to be well, you must begin by curing the soul. Excellence is not a gift, but a skill that takes practice. We do not act rightly because we are excellent. In fact, we achieve excellence by acting rightly. The most effective kind of education is that a child should play amongst lovely things. We understand why children are afraid of darkness, but why are men afraid of light? In politics we presume that everyone who knows how to get votes knows how to administer a city or a state. When we are ill, we do not ask for the handsomest physician, or the most eloquent one. Access to power must be confined to those who are not in love with it. The noblest of all studies is the study of what man is, and of what life he should live. The people always have some champion whom they set over them and nurse into greatness. This and no other is the root from which a tyrant springs. When he first appears he is a protector. Lack of activity destroys the good condition of every human being. A tyrant is always stirring up some war or other, in order that the people may require a leader. Each man is capable of doing one thing well. If he attempts several, he will fail to achieve distinction in any. Just as bees make honey from thyme, the strongest and driest of herbs, so do the wise profit from the most difficult of experiences. People are like dirt. They can either nourish you and help you grow as a person, or they can stunt your growth and make you wilt and die. If you think your child's academic studies are more important than the arts, think again. If a man be endowed with a generous mind, this is the best kind of nobility. There should exist among the citizens neither extreme poverty, nor again excessive wealth, for both are productive of great evil. Music and rhythm find their way into the secret places of the soul. He who is of a calm and happy nature will hardly feel the pressure of age. Money-makers are tiresome company, as they have no standard but cash value. The laws of democracy remain a dead letter. Its freedom is anarchy. Its equality, the equality of unequals. There are three classes of men: lovers of wisdom, lovers of honor, and lovers of gain. Complacent ignorance is the most lethal sickness of the soul. Atheism is a disease of the soul before it becomes an error of understanding. But tell me, this physician of whom you were just speaking, is he a money-maker, an earner of fees, or a healer of the sick? When a beautiful soul harmonizes with a beautiful form, and the two are cast in one mold, that will be the fairest of sights to him who has the eye to contemplate the vision. Music has the capacity to touch the innermost reaches of the soul, and music gives flight to the imagination. It is better to be wise, and not to seem so, than to seem wise, and not be so. Yet men, for the most part, desire the contrary. The wise man will want to be ever with him who's better than himself. The dance of all the arts is the one that most influences the soul. Dancing is divine in its nature and is the gift of God. The purpose of education is to give to the body and to the soul all the beauty and all the perfection of which they are capable. A man's duty is to find out where the truth is, or if he cannot, at least to take the best possible human doctrine and the hardest to disprove, and to ride on this like a raft over the waters of life. Beauty of style, and harmony and grace and good rhythm depend on simplicity. Dictatorship naturally arises out of democracy, and the most aggravated form of tyranny and slavery out of the most extreme liberty. I know nothing more worthy of a man's ambition than that his son be the best of men. Watch a man at play for an hour, and you can learn more about him than in talking to him for a year. Biography of Plato. Plato was a Greek philosopher born in Athens during the classical period in ancient Greece. He founded the Platonist school of thought, and the Academy, the first institution of higher learning on the European continent. Born, classical Athens. Died, classical Athens. Parents, Ariston of Athens, Perictian. Siblings, Glaucon, Adeimantus of Colletus, Patone, Antiphon. Influenced by Socrates, Pythagoras, Heraclitus, Homer, More.